Good evening, I'm Jack.
And I'm Olivia.
Welcome back to the channel. Each week we sit down and talk honestly about British politics, current affairs, and the big decisions shaping everyday life in this country.
So if that sounds like your kind of conversation, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
And tonight, let's not dress it up. We're asking whether net zero is cleaning up Britain or quietly crippling it.
Because that is the question, isn't it? Not the polished version, not the ministerial version, the real version.
Exactly, because the public keeps getting sold this glossy fantasy. Britain is leading the world, Britain is going green, Britain is saving the planet.
Britain is apparently morally superior.
Yes, that too.
Very worthy, very polished, very expensive.
And critics are saying, hang on a second, are we actually cutting emissions or are we just shutting down our own industry, importing the same goods from abroad and pretending that counts as success?
That is the dirty secret, and it is not a small one, because if that is what is happening, then this is not green progress.
No.
It is economic vandalism with a halo.
That's the point, isn't it? Because once you strip away the slogans, it comes down to something brutally simple. If we stop making things here, but still buy them from somewhere else, what exactly have we achieved?
We've achieved a nicer press release.
A tidier spreadsheet.
And a dirtier truth.
Quite, because what are we constantly told? That Britain is decarbonising, Britain is transitioning, Britain is leading.
But leading where?
Well, into dependence, some would say.
And into decline, frankly, because one of the biggest problems with this whole debate is that politicians talk as though electricity is the whole story. Decarbonise the grid, build some wind farms, add some solar, buy a few electric cars, and apparently everything else just falls neatly into place.
Which it obviously doesn't.
Of course it doesn't. The real economy doesn't run on political slogans. Transport, heating, manufacturing, agriculture, construction, huge parts of modern life still rely on oil and gas directly or indirectly.
And if that is true, which it is, then making oil and gas more expensive or harder to produce does not remove the need.
It just punishes the country.
It punishes households.
It punishes businesses.
It punishes industry.
And then we're told to clap.
That's what grates, isn't it? The public is squeezed, lectured, overcharged, and then expected to nod along while ministers tell them this is all terribly sensible.
Yes, and there is always this tone of smug inevitability. This is the future. This is non-negotiable. This is what serious countries do.
Well, let's test that.
Please?
Do serious countries deliberately hollow out their own industrial base?
No.
Do serious countries make themselves more reliant on foreign supply?
No.
Do serious countries shut down domestic capacity and then congratulate themselves for importing the replacement?
No, they do not. They protect capability. They protect resilience. They protect competitiveness.
Exactly, which is why this matters so much, because the minute you start closing steel, chemicals, refining, cement, ceramics, heavy industry, whatever it may be, you are not just changing an emissions profile, you're changing the strength of the country.
And weakening it.
Yes.
Because jobs go, skills go, investment goes, confidence goes, supply chains go, productive capacity goes.
And once it's gone, good luck getting it back.
Exactly. That is what people in Westminster never seem to grasp. Industry is not a plug-in appliance. You do not switch it off on Friday and rebuild it on Tuesday because the politics has changed.
No, and the deeper problem is this. Britain loves boasting about falling domestic emissions.
Ah yes, the trophy statistic.
Wait. Ministers wave it around endlessly. Look how much progress we've made. Look how responsible we are. Look how virtuous we've become.
But here comes the awkward question.
A very awkward question.
If those emissions have fallen, partly because production moved abroad, then how much of this is real and how much is accounting theatre?
That is the question they hate.
Because if you import the same goods you used to produce yourself, then the global carbon may still be there. It's just not happening on your patch anymore.
Out of sight.
Out of sight, out of mind, and apparently good enough for a ministerial soundbite.
And that's where public trust starts to crack. Because ordinary people are not fools. They can see that closing British production does not magically end demand.
No, it just means someone else produces it.
Often somewhere with lower standards.
Quite.
And we still buy it.
Exactly. So we lose the jobs, lose the industry, lose the capability, and then pretend the moral arithmetic still works in our favor.
Which is why critics say this is not environmental realism. It is virtue signaling backed by deindustrialization.
And there is another part of this that infuriates people, the sheer one-sidedness of the sales pitch.
Go on.
The benefits are always presented as certain, sweeping and inevitable: cleaner future, better jobs, new industries, lower bills eventually, greater energy security eventually, better technology eventually.
That word again, eventually.
Exactly, eventually, later, down the line, in the future.
While the pain is now.
Higher bills now, more pressure now, more industrial weakness now, more dependency now.
And people are expected to not notice the mismatch.
Or worse, to feel guilty for noticing it.
Yes, because the moment you question any of this, what are you called?
Anti-environment, anti-progress, a denier, a reactionary. Pick your insult.
Which is lazy nonsense.
It's worse than lazy. It's evasive. Wanting affordable energy is not anti-environment. Wanting secure supply is not anti-environment. Wanting domestic industry is not anti-environment. Wanting honest accounting is not anti-environment.
No, it's called being serious.
Exactly. And that is what this debate is really about: seriousness. Does Britain still want to be a serious country? A country that makes things, a country that produces energy, a country that understands resilience matters, a country that can survive shocks? Or does it want to be a country that outsources the hard bits and keeps the virtue?
Because that, in the end, is what this comes down to.
Yes, and people are starting to clock it. They're starting to realize that what's being sold as a moral triumph can sometimes look suspiciously like national self-harm.
That's the phrase, isn't it?
It is, because if your policies leave you poorer, weaker, more dependent, less competitive, and less capable, then at some point you have to ask whether the strategy is flawed at its core.
And whether the numbers being waved around tell the full story.
Which many suspect they do not.
No.
And let's be honest, once people suspect they are being sold half a story, everything starts to unravel.
Trust goes.
Fast.
And once trust has gone, so does patience.
Quite right. People will accept difficult policies if they believe the case is honest. What they will not accept is being squeezed, patronized, and spun to.
No, because at that point it stops feeling like leadership.
And starts feeling like managed decline.
Wrapped in green language.
With a minister grinning beside a podium.
Quite. So maybe that is the dirty secret after all. Not that change is hard, everyone knows that.
But that too much of what is sold as success may actually be displacement.
Displacement of industry.
Displacement of emissions.
Displacement of cost.
And displacement of truth, frankly.
And if that's what's happening, then Britain is not solving the problem nearly as cleanly as it claimed.
It may just be exporting the carbon, importing the dependency, and weakening itself in the process, while calling that leadership, and calling that virtue. That's all from us tonight. If you enjoyed the discussion, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so more people can find us. And tell us in the comments, is Britain genuinely cutting emissions? Or just exporting them and pretending that counts as success? Thanks
for watching.